Yeah. So, I mean, it used to be the case that if you wanted to do ZK, you had to raise like $100 million. You had to have a team of 40 cryptographers. You had to have very, very deep specialized expertise to build ZK for your use case. That's obviously completely impractical. And so with what we provide, our technology makes it so that all that stuff becomes a weekend project.
Okay, we are back with our Bitcoin.com live news coverage of Token 2049 in Singapore. We are here at the Bitcoin.com news desk powered by Threshold Network. I am with our new guest. We have Uma Roy. She is the CEO of Succinct, an infrastructure project focused on the modern technology wizardry surrounding zero-knowledge proofs. Is that relatively accurate, would you say? A little hyperbolic, maybe?
No, it's moon math. I would agree with that.
I love it, moon math. Okay, let's start with a brief history about yourself, if you don't mind. What was the path that you took to where you are today?
Yeah, I would say the biggest influence on my journey into ZK, which is what brought me into crypto, is I always used to do a lot of math. So I love math. I love, doing math research, writing math papers. And then when I first heard about ZK, it was just so fascinating to me, this concept that you could prove something without, kind of revealing all the inputs that went into that computation.
Magic.
Yeah. And so I kind of just went down the rabbit hole, learned a lot about it, and yeah, here I am.
All right. So when you say that you liked math, could you kind of embellish a little bit? What do you mean by that? Like you liked algebra, you like trigonometry? I mean, what are we talking about here?
No, I mean, I just did like a lot of math problems, like math contests and like math research in high school.
Oh, nice.
And college. Yeah.
Were you a math major?
Yes.
Okay. And what area of math were you into before ZK?
I would say I really liked number theory.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually some of the concepts today are still like translate to ZK. I don't do much math or coding anymore. Now I have to like do other stuff for the company, but that's always been my passion.
Very, very cool. And from the crypto angle, had you already heard about crypto before this? Or was that all kind of happening at the same time? ZK and crypto kind of were introduced to you simultaneously.
No, I heard about crypto like a long time ago in 2015 because some of my friends were running.
2015?
Well, I wish I'd taken different actions back then. But yeah, some of my friends were running like Bitcoin miners in our dorm room and stuff. And I think he spent like that one Bitcoin on some like electronic parts at the time or something like that. But I'd heard about crypto for a long time. But then I only really got into it and started building Succinct, my company, 3 years ago.
Very, very good. And so when you heard about ZK knowledge proofs, did you immediately see, like, it was introduced as like a crypto technology, basically?
Yeah, just like a very fundamental piece of like crypto technology that has applications in many, many different ways. Okay,
gotcha. All right, so let's get into the company you founded. You're the founder?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Company you founded, Succinct. What is it?
Yeah, so Succinct, we're an infrastructure company. Our mission's to prove the world software, which means, kind of like layman's terms, is to take ZK and cryptography mainstream. And what that means is, ZK is this very magical technology where it can be used for so many different things, like blockchain scaling, but also even use cases outside of blockchain, like proving images are real, for example. And we make ZK very, very easy to use and accessible to average developers. So ZK as a technology has actually been around for like 30 years, but it hasn't been very usable at all for a very long time. And the core technology we built, a zero-knowledge virtual machine, makes it so that you can just write normal code and use ZK. So make using ZK as simple as coding. And in a similar way to how, large language models made using AI as easy as like typing in a chat box a bunch of English and then you get, AGI out on the other side. With our technology makes it similar. Like you can just type normal code, you get out ZK and verifiability, and that has all those benefits.
Right. So I didn't know the history about ZK, 30 years old. Is that from like a proof of concept, like a mathematical proof of concept, or was there an actual product or something usable 30 years ago.
No, it was just very in research land, math concept, math papers, like seen as very impractical. And then over time, the theory has gotten better and better. And also the engineering has gotten better and better. And, we use a lot of GPUs, and it's the same underlying technology that kind of accelerated the AI revolution. And so GPUs have also really accelerated the ZK revolution and made it very, very practical today.
So basically, this theory and like the underlying math is old, but it really needed like modern compute to make an actual product. Okay. So you gave this example, proving images are real.
Mm-hmm.
Can you walk me through how that would work, this use case?
Yeah, so to start with the problem, like I think OpenAI even had an announcement today where they have this new model that can generate videos that look extremely realistic. And obviously that's a huge problem because if you're scrolling your Twitter feed, you don't know what's real or what's fake. And how ZK can help with that is basically you can imagine that cameras, at the time they capture a photo, they kind of issue some sort of certificate or signature that this picture was taken from a real camera. And then you do ZK and cryptography on top of that to kind of prove that, your image you're seeing, which might be a crop or an edited version or a JPEG or compressed, is derived from like a real image taken from a real physical camera instead of from something.
Then when you say you do this, you mean something like Succinct would do this?
It's more like a developer can use this thing and build something that.
So the camera's not actually doing the processing of this, right? It's being offloaded into.
Yeah, so the camera is kind of like signing the original content. So it's providing some sort of signature that it came from a legitimate physical source. And then you would use Succinct technology to kind of prove transformations on top of that signature. And then in the end, you can imagine that someone builds like a, maybe even Twitter integrates this into their core product where whenever you see a real image, you see like a little check mark with a ZK proof attached saying, hey, this image came from like a real source and it's, compressed or cropped or, not. We did some legitimate set of transformations on it to make sure that it's like true to the original authentication.
Great. All right. So I'm going to show how ignorant I am on this subject in the hopes that it'll help other people who are ignorant on the subject too. But basically, I think in this example, you have the camera, it signs the image.
Yeah.
And then the heavy lifting is done by someone like by a company like Succinct, right?
Yes. Yeah.
They go through like some difficult proving thing,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And then Twitter on the other end, they can do some very light computation to verify
exactly
that this proof actually worked, right? And that's kind of where the magic is that you can separate out who's doing the hard work, but still retain like mathematically. What's it called?
Like guaranteed. Yeah, cryptographic guarantee. And also what's cool is like you don't have to have the entirety of the original image and stuff like that. So you can still keep like some data private if you don't want to like share all of it. So that's also like very magical. I think another really interesting use case is like identity as well.
Okay.
Like today, if you want to sign up for an exchange or, sign up for anything on the internet, you have to provide, your whole driver's license or your passport. And that really sucks.
Yeah. Especially when it gets leaked.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the recent Coinbase, I think, had an incident.
Yes.
So ZK can help with that, where basically you can provide some proof against some like database of identities saying, hey, I have an identity. It's signed by, the government and I'm over 18. I live in this state, whatever other facts, and then provide Coinbase that proof without kind of revealing that, every last detail about your identity to them.
Yeah. And so then, Coinbase would just store that proof, and then if they get hacked or the thing gets leaked,
it's just like a proof of the facts you wanted to.
Yeah. It's just not nearly as sensitive.
Yeah,
if sensitive at all. Okay, right. All right. So, those are two awesome use cases, not to do with crypto.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some crypto use cases, like some basic crypto use cases. Why would like a blockchain use sync?
Yeah, so blockchains obviously scaling is the biggest blockchain problem. And the reason there's such a problem with scaling, why is Bitcoin, why is Ethereum so slow and expensive? It's because there's a bunch of nodes all around the world that have to redo the computations of like processing every single block and then, validating it. And so the way ZK can help with that is you have one person generate a big proof. So you have one sophisticated prover generate a proof, and then everyone else in the world verifies that proof. And so now you can make blocks have as many transactions as you want because everyone in the world doesn't have to re-execute these transactions. They can just verify proof. And so I think that's why Ethereum and, even Bitcoin, there's some Bitcoin layer 2s and things like this, have really latched onto ZK as the solution to scaling. And so you have the Ethereum layer 2s, some Bitcoin layer 2s, even these verifiable perps exchanges that are kind of like application-specific rollups, I would say, that use ZK. And it's all just a solution to scaling while keeping the verifiability that makes crypto what it is.
Right. And again, so again, I correct me when I'm wrong, but the other beautiful thing is, so you have this efficiency gain, right? Because everyone's not doing these difficult proofs.
Yeah.
You can allow one party to do that difficult proof, and then the verification is much faster, much cleaner. But also, the magic of it is you can have like a centralized party do the difficult what's called proving, and then decentralized nodes can do the light work.
Yeah.
And still retain that decentralization aspect.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. So I think the reason you want everyone in the world to kind of be checking these proofs is that crypto's core ethos is it's don't trust, verify, right? And so today what you have to do to verify is you have to like redo all the computations and all the work
Yourself.
In this world, you just verify your proof, and then you're like, okay, cool, I know exactly what the state of the chain is.
So even if it's a compromised CIA node plant who's doing the verification, doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
The proof is legit.
Yeah, a proof is a proof. You can't fake it.
Yeah. So you can't fake it. You can't doctor it. Quite magical in that respect. Right. Okay. So I guess then, how would you like visually or for me like structurally, where does Succinct kind of fall in like the blockchain stack? That would be my first question. Like, so for example, you have like the blockchain level, you have validators, nodes, miners, things like that, and then you kind of work your way up to like application layer. Basically, where's Succinct?
Yeah, so there's app layer, then there's actual blockchains like Ethereum L1, all the L2, and I think Succinct is a layer even below that.
Okay.
So L1s, L2s are our customers, and they use our technology to make it scalable. Even Ethereum L1 is actually kind of one of our customers today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they recently announced that they want to scale the L1. That's kind of like one of their core focuses. They want to use ZK to do that. They're actually all in ZK-PVMs, which is the core technology we're using. And so we're working very closely with them to envision a future where Ethereum can be at 10K TPS, but still be verifiable. So not like the Solana data center model while using ZK and ZK-PVMs.
Right. So you would be a layer lower, and basically you would be part of this effort to tease apart like the I guess the execution layer of a blockchain, like of an L1 or L2.
Yeah, so they have like an execution layer, but it's more like verifying what's going on in that execution.
So within the execution layer, you would be the piece there.
Yeah, I think that's like accurate. Basically, we are a service that these chains use, or we're a protocol these chains use to get ZK and then use ZK whatever their protocol requires it.
Yeah. And because they're an infrastructure project, the benefit would be all of these projects don't have to kind of keep reinventing this ZK technological stack. Instead, they can use you. Your sole focus is on this.
Yeah.
You have the expertise. So that's a lot more efficient because you can just kind of plug into your infrastructure And you don't have to have like every single team, Optimism and Arbitrum, and
Yeah.
have you.
Yeah. So, I mean, it used to be the case that if you wanted to do ZK, you had to raise like $100 million. You had to have a team of 40 cryptographers. You had to have very, very deep specialized expertise to build ZK for your use case. That's obviously completely impractical. And so with what we provide, our technology makes it so that all that stuff becomes a weekend project. And even for really big teams like Optimism, like Arbitrum, and maybe we'll talk about that partnership, like they, even though they have the resources, they still use our technology and stack because it's just a lot more efficient for them as a company.
Okay, yeah. We're definitely going to talk about that later. All right, so I guess then, why soft pitch for you? Why should companies use Succinct? Like, what's the bonus you use? Give me.
I think if you want to use ZK in your protocol, this is just by far the easiest, cheapest, fastest thing you can do. It's truly as simple as writing normal code. And like, it's just the best way to use ZK. And so a lot of developers have told that to me, and yeah, I think it's a main one.
But what expertise does Succinct bring to the table that makes this awesome?
Yeah, I would say like our differentiators are basically that if you want to use ZK right now, your one option is you can try to do it in-house. That's very impractical for a lot of the reasons I described.
Yeah.
And then if you want to use, kind of a ZK-VM, there's actually many that have popped up over the years.
Yeah.
So now there's like 20 or 30 of them.
I know.
And so with Succinct, I think we have been around for a very long time. We secure, 3 billion in TVL. So we secure the most TVL out of any of the other ZK-VM. So security is obviously very important. We're the fastest by all the benchmarks. So that's important, being fast and cheap. And then we have a really great developer experience that just makes it super easy to use. And then, yeah, I think like all those reasons why customers pick us over like the 30 other ZK-VMs.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And the so let's talk about this partnership you had. Right. So can you set up what this partnership is, and then I have a question for you about it.
Yeah. So one of the biggest use cases of ZK is taking layer 2s on Ethereum and making them ZK layer 2s so they can have much faster settlement to the L1. So instead of taking your money and like sticking in a bridge and having it stuck for 7 days, you can have it removed in 1 hour. So that's a core problem ZK solves. Arbitrum is a team that has been around for a long time and built this layer 2 stack. And also they have their own blockchain, Arb1. And they are partnering with us to ZKify their whole stack and hopefully bring it to their own chain as well. And also all the other partner chains in their ecosystem, like the Robinhood chain, the Pool chain, and a bunch of others.
And it's great because, again, this modularity, you get to see why it's so awesome is once they partner with you, like you said, it can just be applied magically to all these other things.
Yeah, to all their chains. And it's nice because like we get to do the ZK stuff, which is what we're good at. Arb gets to keep their stack, which is what they're good at. And then you just have these things work together really well.
Okay, good. All right, so you said on X about this this partnership. This isn't just another logo times logo partnership. This is a big fucking deal. Drop the F-bomb. Hope YouTube doesn't demonetize us. Okay, why is it a big deal?
Well, it's a really big deal because Arbitrum 1 is the top rollup by TVL. They're a very, very strong team that has an amazing rollup stack. There's all these benefits. It's being used by Robinhood. And so, and the fact that they are, first of all, committed to ZK-ifying their stack, like they want to use ZK technology. They've kind of been holdouts for a long time, but they came around and realized all the benefits of using ZK. And then they chose to work with Succinct, which is a really, really big decision for them because ZK's core to the integrity of their entire protocol. So when they're making that decision on which ZK VM to work with, I think requires a lot of thought and care. And so the fact that they chose Succinct, I think, speaks a lot to kind of like what we're able to offer. And so, yeah, it's like really exciting, I think, just to see like, okay, ZK is going to be in every rollup. Like every rollup is going to be a ZK rollup. And then all that ZK is going to be going through Succinct in our network and protocol. So I think that's very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Just as a tangent to this is all like so far we talked just about like EVM land basically,
Yeah.
Ethereum ecosystem. Does this have any applicability to like what Solana's doing over there, or some of these other kind of high performance chains, maybe like Hyperliquid or something like that?
It's a good question. So Solana obviously takes a different approach to scaling, where they don't have as many roll-ups like that. But I think even with Solana, there's actually a few teams that are building these network extensions, which are kind of like their roll-up answer, and those use ZK. So even today on Solana mainnet, you can't trade perps with a similar experience as Hyperliquid. And so that's kind of a sign that they haven't scaled enough. And so some teams on Solana are building, these verifiable perps exchanges, which are basically like roll-ups for perps and perps only, secured by ZK on Solana. So I think there still is like a role for ZK on Solana.
But Succinct's, at least currently, Succinct is very focused on the EVM ecosystem.
No, we work with all ecosystems.
Oh, yeah?
There are teams on Solana that use it. There's teams on like new chains like Mana that use it for some like private stablecoin use cases. No, we work with everything. I think obviously Ethereum has always been a really big champion of ZK and cryptography, so that's kind of why we have like very strong alignment with them. But yeah, ZK is not just a technology that's limited to Ethereum. It's like Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, and then like also even beyond blockchains too.
Yeah, and we'll get to that now. Great setup. What are kind of the big use cases outside of blockchain, right? Like, I mean, obviously, we're at a crypto conference. Anyone who's watching this, I guarantee you they've heard ZK for years, so nothing new to them. But yeah, what about outside of blockchain, and what is Sync doing outside of blockchain, or looking to do?
Yeah. I think the two biggest use cases outside of blockchain that I'm excited about are the ones I already highlighted to you. So this notion of ZK identity or ZK KYC, where you can prove facts about your identity without revealing your whole identity to someone. I think that has a lot of interesting implications on like so being able to be compliant but still keep privacy, which is important for consumers. And then I really think this verifiable images, audio, general video is going to become even more important with like all the AI advances we're seeing.
Yeah.
It's going to need to be some way that you can tell whether this image came from like a real physical device, or whether that podcast was actually recorded, or whether someone actually said something. And I think ZK's role in that is going to be like probably one of the most important and maybe even high volume use cases over the next few years.
And for these use cases, is there any need for it to be on blockchain?
No.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. Like ZK is just a broad technology and platform that can be used in blockchains and beyond. And even for Succinct, like we don't even view ourselves as just a blockchain or just a crypto company.
Yeah.
We're also a cryptography company.
Right.
And our tech can be applied to Web3, Web2, anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. So for identity, I talked with somebody at KBW, and they're using ZK for just this. They had an interesting wrinkle to it though, which is so they were like verifying identities of Lyft drivers actually, right? I asked, does it have to be on blockchain? And so they're more on the consumer facing side, so not infrastructure. But they said something interesting, which is for them, yes, it has to be on blockchain because of the data protection laws, at least in the US. And so having it on a blockchain, being like credibly decentralized and everything, it means that they're able to say to like regulators and stuff like, this is a decentralized blockchain, right? We don't have to, all of these like data protection laws don't apply to us in the same way. And so,
interesting.
Yeah. So maybe there is a case, I guess, for blockchain being used in that respect.
Yeah, that's possible. I also think a lot of the barriers to doing ZK KYC these days are not really like technical barriers, because the truth is with our ZK-VM and the technology we built, you can just code up like prove I'm over 18, prove I live in this state in an afternoon. Like that's really how easy we make it. And now it's a matter of like convincing regulators, hey, these exchanges don't have to keep your identity. They can just verify proofs. And so I think there's actually been some good progress on this. Like in the White House crypto report, they did mention ZK as a potential technology that could help with comply. Yeah.
That was weird. It was a weird moment for me to see that.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like they're just becoming, they're understanding this technology. They seem really interested in learning more. And so that's really exciting. And I think especially with a lot of the regulation we've seen on the stablecoin stuff, I hope that like there's some follow-up regulation on, how a lot of this cryptographic technology can be used to actually help like other parts of society as well.
Yeah. All right. Just a random left ball question. Does quantum like throw a wrench in any of this?
Actually, our technology is quantum resistant.
Okay.
Which means that it's kind of if there's quantum, then we're actually a solution to it.
Okay.
So the technology we use is post-quantum cryptography. So yeah, we're fine.
Nice. Awesome. All right. So where do you see like ZK in general, like going in the next couple of years in crypto? I'm going to set you up for this to give you an example just from talking to you. It sounds like ZK will be everywhere in everything. Is that roughly where you think it's going to be?
Yeah. I mean, that's why our motto is prove the world software.
Okay. And you think it's going to be happening sooner rather than later?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like every crypto project will just be ZK-ified and it'll be in everything.
Yeah.
And I'll be hearing that word everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, that's like definitely our goal. If, ZK, I think with what we built, it's a platform shift in ZK in terms of how easy it is to use and how accessible it can be, which means it can be used in everything. And so I think every roll-up is going to use ZK. I think the L1's going to scale with ZK. I think all these like exchanges, like these decentralized verifiable exchanges are all going to use ZK. And so ZK is going to be everywhere. And then even outside of crypto, you can imagine, every time you start taking photos and you want to post them, you are also generating proofs. And I think, that's the reason I'm like super excited about ZK generally, is kind of this very broad platform applicability.
Okay, here, let me ask you a question. Do you think, because I agree with you. I think it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be in everything. Is the name ZK going to be, is that going to be the name that the retail is going to associate it with? Is it going to be ZK or is it going to be something else? What do you think?
Yeah, ZK, I do think ZK has pretty good brand awareness. Like if you're like, oh, we're a ZK company, people are like, oh, I know what that is. At least within crypto.
Yeah, that's
in our industries.
Caveat, yeah.
I think verifiability is kind of what ZK provides. And then the reason you want verifiability is you want to prove something's authentic or real. So I think maybe one of those other words could also make a lot more sense in kind of letting people understand why we might want this technology. Like people, when they talk about like AI, people don't talk about, the transformer, right? They're just like, I use this chat app and it's awesome.
They don't even say LLMs really. Like,
yeah.
I talked to my mom and like, oh, what LLM do you use? Like, huh?
Yeah. So I think ZK in some ways can be invisible behind the scenes infrastructure that powers all that stuff.
I do think though that there will be, I just personally think that there will be some other brand name that'll be used to represent, but I don't know. For me, just from crypto land, which I'm like deeply kind of ensconced in, Web3 didn't really work for me. Really, like a crypto Web3, but so neither is there yet. Anyway, that's a story for later. One last question for you. Do you think that any particular ecosystem within crypto is better suited for ZK?
Yeah, I think Ethereum is probably best suited for ZK because Ethereum values really care about verifiability. So it's kind of like, that's why ZK is the most PMF with Ethereum and its ecosystem projects like Layer 2 and things like this today. So yeah, I would say they're kind of like the most the people who create this technology the most, and have also really done a lot to push it forward.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you, Uma Roy. I really appreciate this. Infrastructure projects are awesome. The retail doesn't really kind of see like they get to see projects like you, but they definitely kind of feel them when they're there and when they're not there. So best of luck with Succinct, and thanks for being like a backbone of the ecosystem.
Thank you.
All right.